Hello everyone, my name is Crystal Myers Barber and today is January the 21st, 2023. I wanted to give you a report on a unfortunate situation with Trump where he's lost a case to Hillary Clinton, and this is so sad because back in March, according to the story of 2022, he filed a lawsuit against Hillary, the DNC, I think around $70 million. As I get into this story, we're going to learn more, because they accused him of colluding, with Russia for his campaign. And we just found out that it all came clean. Like, they just released all these reports about how that was all fabricated. But I don't understand how this happened, because this report actually says that he's going to get fined, and he lost the lawsuit. And it's just really crazy. So let's get into this. And so thanks for watching. So Trump and his lawyer has been sanctioned almost about $1 million for, quote, a frivolous lawsuit against Hillary Clinton. This came out on January the 19th, 2023. So a federal judge on Thursday imposed nearly $1 million in sanctions to former President Trump and his lawyer for filing a since dismissed frivolous lawsuit against Hillary Clinton and many others, which had claimed that they tried to rig the 2016 presidential election in her favor by smearing Trump. And actually they did. They smeared Trump, and he, is suing them. We are confronted with a lawsuit that should never have been filed. This is what the judge is saying, which was completely frivolous, both factually and legally, and which was brought in bad faith for an improper purpose, wrote Judge John Middlebrooks in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. So this is in Florida, where same state Trump resides. And so in his order sanctioning Trump and his attorney, Alina Habba, so that's Trump's attorney, Trump's suit, which sought $70 million in damages, accused Clinton and 30 other defendants of conspiring to weave a false narrative during the 2016 election. Trump and his campaign were colluding with Russia in their efforts to win the race. Middlebrooks in his order Thursday noted that, in quote, Mr. Trump is a prolific and sophisticated litigant who is repeatedly using the courts to seek revenge on political adversaries. So you can clearly see in this story, as we read and go on, this judge of Florida hates Donald Trump. He goes on to say, the judge says he is the mastermind of strategic abuse of the judicial process, and he cannot be seen as a litigant blindly following the advice of a lawyer, Middlebrooks wrote. He knew full well the impact of his actions. As such, I find that sanctions should be imposed upon Mr. Trump and his lead counsel, Ms. Habba. Under the order, the Republican Trump and Habba are jointly and severally liable for the total amount of sanctions the judge imposed to cover the defendant's legal fees and costs, which is almost $1 million. That amount is about, they go on to say, $120,000 less than what the defendants jointly requested for sanctions. Clinton was awarded, and this was the shocking part here for me, Clinton was only awarded like $171,000 in sanctions paid by Trump and Habba, with most of the money earmarked for Clinton's attorney's fees. So we see attorneys always doing this. They take most of your money, but they did it to Clinton too. So I was kind of surprised. So they're getting like about $800,000 and $830,000, and Clinton's getting about $171,000. So going back to the story, that was the second largest amount awarded in Middlebrooks' order, which gave the Democratic National Committee its former chairwoman, Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida, and a related corporation $179,000 and some change. The amount of fees awarded in this case, while reasonable, is substantial, Middlebrooks noted. The judge in November had sanctioned Habba and other Trump lawyers $50,000 in favor of another defendant in the lawsuit. Charles Doling. Are you hearing all these, all the aircraft above? I mean, I can't even like focus. I hope my mic is picking this up. They're flying there, here. It's like, we're just under the biggest surveillance here in the state of California that I've ever seen. I don't know what's happened, what's changed, but I'm interrupting the story to let you only hear. You can't see what I can see, but you can hear it. I know you can. But going back to this, he called the legal pleadings filed in the case of Wahaba abusive litigation tactics and said the original lawsuit and a later 168-page amended complaint were drafted to advance political narrative, not to address legal harm caused by any defendant. The amended complaint is a hodgepodge of disconnected, often immaterial events followed by an implausible conclusion, Middlebrooks wrote. This is what the judge just wrote. This is a deliberate attempt to harass, to tell a story without regard to facts. Wahaba did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the order, but Trump, who is seeking the 2024 GOP presidential nomination, filed his suit in March against Clinton, who was the 2016 Democratic presidential nominee. Now, I don't understand why Trump waited this late to file this complaint. That doesn't make much sense to me, but I don't know. This is not looking good for him, no matter what way. So the other defendants included the DNC, Wasserman Schultz, Clinton campaign chief John Podesta, the law firm Perkins, because that was her campaign manager, Podesta, and it goes on to say the law firm Perkins Coie, the research firm Fusion GPS, the former FBI officials James Comey. I think Comey was the one who really dreamed up this whole Russian collusion thing. Really, they kind of buried that, and they don't talk about that anymore. But he was a former FBI official who was fired. He was fired. He was in a restaurant in LA, and I remember Trump firing him, and he saw it on TV and learned about being fired by watching TV in the restaurant. So that was an epic moment. But going back to the story, so these are the defendants, including Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. Trump talks about them two having an affair, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, as well as Christopher Steele, the ex-British intelligence agent who authored the notorious Trump-Russia dossier, opposition research report before the election. Now they're pegging this all on Christopher Steele. I don't know why, because I know that I am correct in what I said just a second ago about James Comey being part of this. Anyway, the suit claimed that Clinton and other defendants falsified evidence, deceived law enforcement agencies, and engaged in other things that made even the events of Watergate pale in comparison. And actually, all of that is true. They really did do this. But this judge here, Middlebrooks, goes on to say he earlier dismissed the lawsuit against Clinton and all other defendants with prejudice, which bars Trump from refiling the complaint. I would have thought maybe he would have lost just because of timing, that he waited so long. But going back to this report, Middlebrooks under order is the latest in a series of embarrassing legal setbacks for Trump, which have included the criminal conviction last month in New York State Court of his Manhattan-based real estate company. The Trump Organization for a years-long tax avoidance scheme. Trump and his company also face a major civil lawsuit by New York's Attorney General for an alleged scheme to misstate the valuation of a real estate assets for financial gain. And Trump also is being sued by the writer E. Jean Carroll, who accuses him of raping her in the mid-1990s in New York. I am furious about that part because I covered E. Jean Carroll on my YouTube channel, and they took my whole channel down a couple of years ago, but I had an extensive report showing what a liar she is. And also that whole thing, they took a Netflix series or some sort of a series and they copied it to the T, and it's like it's like resurrected again. And I'm gonna have to resurrect my report. I've been looking for it. I'll find it for y'all. This is the last paragraph here. It says, a state grand jury in Georgia recently completed gathering evidence and bearing and hearing testimony as part of an ongoing criminal probe into whether Trump illegally tried to overturn the results of the state's 2020 election, which he lost. And federal prosecutors are investigating Trump for his bid to reverse his loss in the national election to President Joe Biden and his taking government documents to his Florida residence where he left office. They are bringing all this stuff up while Joe Biden is the biggest hypocrite being found with, in case you didn't hear, classified documents in his garage parked next to his Corvette. His son, Hunter Biden, having the address, living there, and the classified documents by Joe Biden being found all over the place, including more places in his home in Delaware called the library. And there's a university, that Penn State, I think it was, that also had these documents. And so what a hypocrite this is. Or it's almost like they're rubbing stuff in our face when they bring all this up. And this is a current report. And it's neck and neck with the stuff that they're finding on Biden. And it almost looks like, to me, they want not only Trump in jail, but they want Biden out, which everybody's concluded right now. And they want them both. They're trying to make Biden look as bad as Trump, but Biden has always been evil. And look what he's done to America. But I'm signing off. That's all I wanted to report here today in Los Angeles, near one of beautiful beaches. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back. I'll be back for more to report more. And thanks for watching. I'll be back to report more breaking stories. God bless.